What is going on, everybody? The 2021 NFL regular season is behind us, which means playoffs are upon us. Heck, they might as well have already started, as the final game of the season basically was a playoff game, and what a game it was. Raiders-Chargers, great reminder of how special NFL playoffs are. The best of the best. Winner advance, loser go home. And in this video, I'm going to be previewing my entire slate of 2022 NFL playoff predictions game by game. And last year set the bar pretty dang high. Missed on just 2 games in the entire playoffs. Missed on a wild card game between the Browns and the Steelers. Had the winner of that game losing in the next round anyway. And then you got to fast forward all the way to the Super Bowl, where I picked the Chiefs to beat the Bucs, as opposed to what we saw, the wild card Tampa Bay Buccaneers beating the Chiefs. So setting the bar pretty high. Going to be tough to repeat my own performance from last year's predictions, but here's hoping to go even better. If you are not new to this channel, please do me a favor, check that like count down below. If we have not reached 1,000 likes yet, please hit that like button. You have no idea how far that will go towards supporting my channel and spreading this video out to new viewers. And to you new viewers, welcome in. Please do hit that like button as well if you enjoy, and make sure you subscribe. Hang around for lots more NFL content heading your way, especially draft content here. If you're into the NFL draft, you're in the right place, so hit that subscribe down below. Let's go ahead and get started. So for the wild card round, going to be going in order of when these games are actually happening. So our first game this weekend is going to be picking up right where we left off, getting the Raiders here on the road against the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow coming off a week of rest here, while Derek Carr and the Raiders actually a short week coming off of Sunday Night Football. So a slight advantage for the Bengals there, and you definitely give a nod towards the Bengals in the quarterback play department. You know, Derek Carr is having a really good season, but Joe Burrow seriously is playing like a top 3 to 5 quarterback in the NFL. His game against the Kansas City Chiefs was an elite performance, and if he shows up that way against this Raiders team, the Raiders are in for a rough day. Now, there are some advantages pointing towards the Raiders here, especially that edge duo, Max Crosby and Yannick Ngakoue. Got a film breakdown on Max Crosby's big season up here on this channel if you have not checked that out, but definitely an advantage for the Raiders against a Bengals offensive line that is genuinely one of the worst in the NFL. So something to look at there, but overall, I look at the Bengals offense. Joe Mixon should have a lot of success running the ball against a pretty squishy Raiders defense, and of course, those Bengals receivers, Jamar Chase, an all-pro season as a rookie, T. Higgins, the ideal number 2 complement, and Tyler Boyd, the ideal slot guy, paired with how Joe Burrow is playing right now against a Raiders secondary that is suspect at best. I think the Raiders are going to have a hard time really slowing down this Bengals offense. And Derek Carr, as good of a season as he's having, does have some caps on what he's going to be able to do here against a Bengals defense that really just kind of plays solid football and forces you to play 60 minutes of mistake-free football. So I do expect some decent scoring here. Gonna go with the Bengals 27-20 at home, getting their first playoff win since Carson Palmer. Did he win a playoff game for this Bengals team? I don't know, but big one for the Bengals fans. Then we have the third meeting between division rivals New England on the road facing the Buffalo Bills, and 2 teams that are very much built differently. You have a physically minded Patriots team going against more of a finessey, passing-oriented Buffalo Bills team. And come playoff football, in cold weather Buffalo, I think I'm going to give the nod, at least at the line of scrimmage and physicality-wise, towards the New England Patriots. You also have Bill Belichick in playoff football. What tricks does he have up his sleeve against Josh Allen, who really is not playing his best football as of late? A quarterback that will make mistakes if you can force them upon him. And for that reason, I like the Patriots to pull the upset here in the wild card round. I'm sorry, Bills fans. I just don't like this matchup. I think the Bills are a team that has built this entire roster to beat a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, the Cincinnati Bengals, more softer teams, but just an unfortunate matchup having to go against Bill Belichick and this physical Patriots defense that already came into Buffalo and won once before. It's not going to be easy for the Patriots, but I like them to keep Josh Allen off the field when he is on the field, to force a mistake or two out of him, and to run the ball against a squishy Buffalo Bills front. So 23-21 is the prediction here. This would be an upset, but in the eyes of some, I think this will be a relatively popular pick. So I am going to go with the New England Patriots beating the Buffalo Bills and advancing. Now we flip over to the NFC side. Probably the most one-sided matchup in the first round. We've got the Philadelphia Eagles sneaking into that 7 seed in the NFC, facing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Super Bowl champs. Really, outside of Tom Brady magically having struggles with the NFC East, especially in playoff time, there's no reason to think Tampa Bay can't win this one handedly. I'm sorry, Eagles fans, but this couldn't be a much worse matchup for the Eagles. You have, on one hand, an offense that prides itself on running the football, going against a historically great run defense, who just gave Vita Vea a big contract extension. They're going to force the Eagles to play left-handed, force Jalen Hurts to beat him through the air, and I don't think he's capable of doing that against this defense, doing the things that we know Todd Bowles and those guys can do with those blitzes, which is another thing Jalen Hurts can struggle with. Inversely, you've got an Eagles defense that loves zone coverage. They're going to drop back. They like to play that bend, don't break style, where they're going to keep everything in front of them and force the quarterback to make 8 to 10 correct decisions on a drive and avoid mistakes. Well, unfortunately, they're going against Tom Brady and the best offensive line in the NFL in pass protection. So even without Godwin, even without Antonio Brown, I think this is a very one-sided matchup. Not quite sure what the spread's going to be on this one, but I would like the Bucs to win this one by 10 plus. My score prediction is going to be 31-16, and the Eagles are going home, and the Tampa Bay Bucs will host a round 2 playoff game. Staying in the NFC, San Francisco at Dallas. Really intriguing matchup here. You know, you look at Dallas, and the best way to probably attack that defense that has maybe the best pass rush in the NFL right now is to run right at them. It might be opposite of what you think there, but they can be a little squishy. And are there any teams in the playoffs that run the ball better than the San Francisco 49ers? Maybe not. So this will be a test for this Dallas Cowboys defense if they can come out and play physical. Now, fortunately, they have a great advantage on the offensive side of the ball. Dak Prescott looked like he was heating up in that last game against the Eagles. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper. You also got to throw Cedric Wilson's name out there, who's really emerging as a playmaker for this team. Going against a Niners secondary that has maybe Ambry Thomas breaking out and as a rookie and really nobody else at corner. This is a dramatic mismatch for the Niners defensively. So as long as the Cowboys can block Nick Bosa, it could be fireworks for the Dallas Cowboys, and it might not matter how well the Niners run the ball. I do think it's a fun matchup. I think this is going to be a good game, but I am just not bold enough to pick against the Cowboys, who I just think offensively match up so well against this Niners defense. So I am going to go Dallas 28, Niners 24 in a fun battle between historic franchises. Okay, then we have another pretty lopsided matchup here. Pittsburgh at the Kansas City Chiefs. We saw this matchup a couple weeks ago, and it was a blowout. The Steelers kind of squeak into the playoffs and almost get eliminated by a tie, which would have been just freaking one of the craziest sports stories ever. But I do expect pretty much more of the same. I think the Steelers in playoff football with Mike Tomlin and his experience there, the toughness that they'll bring to the table, they will do a decent enough job of keeping Mahomes in that well, force him to play mistake-free football, maybe force a couple mistakes and keep the game interesting for a little bit. But how long can you hold these guys down as Big Ben short arms, out routes, and misfires on crossing routes. It's just not a formula to win playoff football, especially on the road in Kansas City. Might be a little bit closer than some people expect after Kansas City really blew out the Steelers several weeks ago, but ultimately I am not going to overthink this one. I think the Kansas City Chiefs keep it on while the Steelers just can't keep up. So we are going to go 27-17 Kansas City advancing. And great career by Big Ben. Fun to at least see him make the playoffs in his final season, so we can remember him for that at least. All right, final wild card battle here. Probably the best matchup saved for Monday night. Arizona at the LA Rams. But I'm going to cut to the chase here. I think this is a really unfortunate draw for the Arizona Cardinals, who had a very good season but did fall off towards the end of this season. You know, the Rams are really built well to go against the Cardinals offense. They obviously have a great pass rush. Now adding Von Miller. And this style of defense alone that they run is that quarters defense, where they are going to put a blanket over the quarterback and say, we're not going to give you the big plays. We're not going to let you outside the pocket in our 3-4 defense with these fast, contained edge backers. You know, we're going to make you take the underneath stuff and have a solid 8 to 10 play drive to beat us. And I just don't think that is how Kyler Murray likes to play football. We've seen throughout the year he struggles against those defenses. So that's my biggest concern here. I also worry about the Cardinals defense here against a Rams offense, getting Cam Akers going here. I think the Rams offense is going to be able to move the ball. You might get some Matthew Stafford mistakes in there. And heck, if he has a real big stinker of a game like we've seen him have a couple times in the last couple months, you got a chance. But that's really their best hope, honestly. I think this is a really bad matchup for the Cardinals. And I'm going to take the Rams to win this one. 27-21. You know, Kyler can keep it close. He is that good. But again, really bad matchup. I'm going to take the Rams to advance. And that brings us to the divisional round here. And I need to point out that in the NFL does reseed. So the highest remaining seed will play the lowest remaining seed. I always get a couple comments saying I did the bracket wrong. Nope, NFL does reseed. So that means the Green Bay Packers will be hosting the LA Rams, a rematch of last year's divisional round playoffs where the Packers won. The Rams did not have a healthy Aaron Donald last year, and Packers didn't have David Bakhtiari at all. So a couple superstar linemen will be active in this one. And interesting matchup. I do think that Aaron Rodgers has this style of defense figured out, almost the opposite of what we've said against or for Kyler Murray, rather. Not only what we've seen from Rodgers against this Rams defense, this quarters heavy, kind of put the blanket over the quarterback style where they're going to give you the underneath stuff. Rodgers has really turned into a quarterback that's comfortable taking that stuff. And to boot, he's shredded this defense once this year, and he's practiced against this defense as his own team runs that defense this year. So I think Rodgers is going to be pretty comfortable in this one. The Rams also invite the run from those fronts. So this is a Packers offense that matches up quite well against this Rams defense. And then on the other side of the ball, can you get 4 straight quarters of consistent ball from Matthew Stafford against a defense that is going to force some mistakes with that pass rush? Will the Packers get Zadarius Smith in this one? Could be an X factor here. I think this is just a little bit too much for the Rams to handle going into Lambeau in a matchup that they've really struggled with. So I'm going to take Green Bay. I don't think it'll be easy. I think this is a really good game, but I'm going to take Green Bay just like last year, finding ways to win late in the game, 27-24, advancing to the NFC Championship for the 3rd year in a row. Then Dallas at Tampa Bay, a rematch of the NFL kickoff that was a thrilling game. Though both of these teams have changed a lot. You know, Dallas has learned how to play defense, basically, and we've learned that this is one of the better defenses in the league, especially pass defenses. As for Tampa, lots of injuries to that receiving core, especially Antonio Brown, not really an injury, but he's gone, and Chris Godwin is out. So not so much like it was week 1, a battle between the 2 best receiving cores in the NFL. I think Tampa Bay very much is a neutered version of the offense they hoped they would be at this point in time. could lead to this being a really tightly fought game. And I'm ultimately going to take Tampa Bay to win this one. It's going to take Tom Brady over Dak Prescott. When it comes to the quarterback matchup here, I think Dallas really thrives off of pass rush, whereas Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, they can block, and Tom Brady will neutralize a pass rush by getting rid of the ball and can attack a group of corners that aren't the best cover group, even without those top receivers for Tampa Bay. And I think Tampa's defense, as good as they are, will force enough issues for Dallas's offense. So I'm going to go with Tampa Bay to win this one, but I think this is going to be a really close game, kind of an almost upset here, but I will go Tampa Bay to pull it off at home, and the score prediction here is 23-30, Tampa Bay. Tom Brady overcoming some of his NFC East woes in the playoff predictions here. Over to the AFC, and let's start with a rematch of one of the best games of the year, a game we saw last year, the Cincinnati Bengals visiting the Kansas City Chiefs this time after it was the other way around, Kansas City in Cincinnati just a week ago. A battle between the two best quarterbacks in the AFC at this point in time, in my opinion, Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. This could be for the Super Bowl. It really could be. Two teams with explosive passing offenses, two teams with the ability to run the ball, and two teams that just don't have amazing defenses. I would describe both of these units as average to above average defenses, but nothing that's really going to, I would just say, keep this from being a shootout. And I fully expect this to be like the first matchup, where it comes down maybe to who has the ball last, who gets a penalty here, who can drop a pass there, come up with a big contested catch here. It's really going to be one of the best games of the playoffs if we see this matchup, and I really hope we get it because, God, it was fun the first time, and in the playoffs it would only be better. Ultimately, I'm sorry, Bengals fans, I'm going to stop the run here. I am going to take Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs to outduel Joe Burrow and the Bengals in this one, but another one that could be an almost upset type of deal, and if the Bengals pulled this one off, look out for them to go to the Super Bowl. So 33-30 in a shootout. I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs to go to the AFC Championship. Then the Bill Belichick off, as it's Bill himself going against his protege in Mike Vrabel and the Tennessee Titans, who get the 1 seed. What an amazing season by Mike Vrabel and these guys, persevering. Now they're going to have to continue persevering because this Patriots team is a very difficult matchup for this Titans team. I think the Titans would much better suit playing a team like Cincinnati or Kansas City, where you can run the ball, you can hit them over the middle on play action, you can really attack at least a team like the Bengals or the Bills offensive line. I don't think this Titans pass rush is going to have a lot of success getting to Mac Jones in this one. So an interesting matchup, a scrappy game. Going to see a lot of running, going to see a lot of really solid, stout, disciplined power football in this game. And I'm going to take the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick with a rookie quarterback in Mac Jones to find a way to win this one. The real reason I'm doing that is I trust Bill Belichick above all to find holes in Ryan Tannehill's game, who I do think is having a great season, but is one of the more one-dimensional quarterbacks in the NFL. That play action, middle of the field hit that they really thrive on, this offense, I think Bill Belichick will take that away. They will take away the run game, and I think the Titans offensively are going to have their struggles in this one, whereas the Patriots offense, they can be pretty multiple, and they run the ball really well. So I'm going to take the Patriots to squeeze this one out against Mike Vrabel, the Belichick disciple. And what a year for the Patriots as they are advancing to the AFC Championship with a rookie quarterback. Now, before we get into the conference championship picks here, I want to tell you guys about my sponsor, SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the best place to buy tickets. It's where I get all of my tickets. Went to 6 NFL games, bought every single one of them on SeatGeek this year. So if you're going to any of these playoff games, if you're going to basketball games, hockey games, or concerts, do it on SeatGeek. I promise you, you will find the best prices. You'll get your tickets immediately, whereas you might not on other ticket service apps. And by using promo code FranchiseGuy, you will also save $20 and support my channel in the process. So check out SeatGeek, use promo code FranchiseGuy, and enjoy the game. Let's pick up where we left off in the AFC as the Kansas City Chiefs will be hosting the New England Patriots, a rematch of the 2019 AFC Championship, though this time, instead of Tom Brady, it will be a rookie quarterback in Mac Jones. We've given Bill Belichick a ton of benefit of the doubt in these predictions. We've given the offensive line and defensive performance of the Patriots a lot of benefit of the doubt to get to this point. But it is going to end here. I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs basically to outscore Mac Jones in an offense that I just don't think has the firepower. I think they'll be able to keep it close. They'll be able to run the ball and play defense, but for how long can you really do that against an experienced team like the Kansas City Chiefs with all of these weapons? I just don't think they have the firepower to get the job done here. I think that's pretty fair. So we're going to take the Kansas City Chiefs fairly convincingly, 28-17, probably pulling away late in this game. And then the battle we've kind of all been anticipating and almost awaiting for is a rematch of that NFC Championship last year that many said was the Super Bowl between the Tampa Bay Bucks and the Green Bay Packers. The GOATs led out of the barn and onto the football field for this one. And I would expect another classic battle just like we got last year. A couple significant differences in this game, however. Of course, David Bakhtiari in there for Green Bay. You remember that Tampa Bay pass rush really gave that Packers offensive line fits last year. Should be a bigger nod towards Green Bay in this one. And then even more significantly, a massive swing is going to be the combination of Tampa Bay losing Antonio Brown and Chris Godwin, while Green Bay has really added and secured that secondary. Last year, it was really just Jair Alexander. This year, you have Eric Stokes, really good young rookie with a ton of athleticism and length. You have Rasul Douglas, a physical, big-bodied guy who could potentially match up with a guy like Mike Evans and let Jair go to work on someone else, or you put Douglas on Gronk. And then Kevin King is, instead of the number 2 corner, now your 4th or 5th guy. So Green Bay in the secondary much more prepared to match up in this one. And honestly, I just think Green Bay has come a lot further since last season's matchup, whereas Tampa Bay is a much more deteriorated version of themselves, even if they're the 2 seed in this game, as opposed to a wild card team. So I do think Green Bay is the better team this time around. I picked the Bucs to win this game last year. This time around, I am going to take Green Bay, and it's not even so much about Brady versus Rodgers, who I both expect to play spectacular in this matchup. It's more about Green Bay having the better team this time around, whereas I didn't feel that way about Tampa Bay last year. Home field helps, and having A.J. Dillon in cold weather football this time around also helps, because they didn't use him last year. They went to Jamal Williams, who did nothing against the Bucs. A.J. Dillon, a different animal. So I think Green Bay really poised for a deep playoff run here, and Aaron Rodgers is going to go back to the Super Bowl for the first time in over 10 years. And that brings us to the grand finale, the State Farm Bowl. I mean the Super Bowl between Rodgers and Mahomes, a battle that we've been really waiting to see since Mahomes came into the league. People saying Mahomes is the next Rodgers heir apparent, yet these two teams have squared off twice. Mahomes missed the first one, Rodgers missed the second one. So here we go. A little bit to take away from the first matchup between these two teams. I think the Packers do run that quarters-heavy style defense that has shown to give Mahomes and this offense fits. Now, since that week 9 meeting, Mahomes has clearly done his research, understands that that's how teams are trying to beat him, and he's been taking the underneath stuff. So certainly not expecting a 13-point dominant performance by the Packers defense again, though I do think there's something to be said about the style that they play, paired with a really nice pass rush, that could give the Packers a slight nod as far as defensive performance overall in this matchup. And then for Green Bay offensively, obviously they struggled against the Chiefs defense with Jordan Love in there. Now you got to remember, this passing game is heavily predicated on Aaron Rodgers' connection with Davante Adams. And Adams actually really struggled to create separation against L'Jarius Sneed and these guys with Jordan Love in there. But the thing is, he doesn't even need separation all the time with the way Rodgers can throw him open and the chemistry that they have. Once you get that going, you start to draw double teams. You start to open up the run game, play action against these young linebackers. It really opens everything up. It's not rocket science to say that the Packers' offense is substantially better with Aaron Rodgers out there than Jordan Love. So I do expect the Packers to have some success against a Chiefs defense that I would just describe as average. So overall as a team, I do think Green Bay is actually the better team than Kansas City in this one. Kind of going full circle to what I said coming into the year. I got a lot of flack for putting Green Bay ahead of Kansas City ever so slightly in my preseason power rankings. Yet here we are, and I don't think it's controversial to say that Green Bay would probably be a several point favorite in this matchup. And for that reason, I am going to take Green Bay to win this one. Rodgers, it just kind of feels like his year. The team is getting healthy. He's got a defense for the first time in a long time. And he's also got kind of every vendetta-style reason for this to be his year. So I am going to take Green Bay to win the Super Bowl here, 34-30. Rodgers gets his second ring, and then the offseason will happen. We'll figure out if he's going to retire, if he's going to stick around. I don't think he would leave in this scenario, but that is a story for perhaps another video. As for this one, I really appreciate you guys for watching. Do let me know your playoff predictions in the comments down below. Again, please do hit that like button. If I didn't pick your team, it's nothing personal. I can't pick everybody to win. I can only pick one champion, so it's not personal. I don't hate your team. This is genuinely who I think wins the Super Bowl this year in all likelihood. So, appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll see you for the next one. Peace out.